the Northern Irish punkish power pop trio Ash has delivered a new album, Ad Astra, to the stars. Yeah, no, this is actually the Beatles' Yellow Submarine and not a spaceship. This is a low-budget YouTube channel, so what do you expect? Well, but let's see if this fairly new album, it's still younger than 1 year, takes us to dizzying heights or crashes right into the next best asteroid and turns out space junk in this fresh review. The band's 9th studio release. They've been around for a good 30 years now. Started out as very young punk-influenced Britpoppers, or were more or less lumped in with the whole Britpop scene. But yeah, Ash always were a bit more pop-punk and power pop than your ordinary, more plodding Britpop act. And they are still playing in their core lineup, the trio of Tim Wheeler, guitars, vocals, also the songwriter in the band, Mark Hamilton on bass, and Rick McMurray on drums. I've seen the band live ages ago when for a while they were playing as a 4-piece together with Charlotte Heatherly as a second guitar player in the band. And I think she also did a bit of keyboards live, I'm not sure. Very good concert, actually. But they soon returned to the all-male trio of the founding members. And that's also the lineup for this 9th studio album, Ad Astra, plus a guest appearance from no other than Blur's Graham Coxon. I've been listening or following Ash or Ash's discography not really intentively. I've listened to a couple of albums and usually noticed when they did a new one, but never, fully dove into their discography, or I wouldn't consider myself a hardcore fan. I know a couple of albums and, of course, some of their hits from the 90s, early 2000s. But this album, with its, space theme and the sci-fi comic strip artwork, somehow gained my interest, so I listened to it. We start with an instrumental version of Thus Spoke Zarathustra, or Zarathustra, here only titled Zarathustra. Of course, it's a rock version, a very short rock version of that. Would this be called a tone poem by Richard Strauss? And, popular music loves this piece. There are disco versions of this and even jazz fusion versions. Ash's version is a very cock-rocky, bombastic arena rock version. And maybe that's a bit cheesy or lame or corny for an album that is literally called To the Stars. But I think this sets the scenery quite nicely. I had a lot of fun with this intro instrumental. So yeah, let's take off and follow Ash into space, and let's follow their adventures there. The first proper song on the album is called Which One Do You Want? Yes, I've got my notes here for those who are wondering. And I guess everybody listening to this track will immediately realize that this song sounds very much like something by the Smiths or Morrissey. Think of tracks like Some Girls Are Bigger Than Others. It has a very jangle pop, 1980s guitar pop sound and production to it. Maybe it's almost too much of a pastiche, but a very, very solid song, well written. And what we hear here is a matured sound from the band. Maybe, as mentioned, more a pastiche than really a song in its own right, but on the other hand, very, very catchy. The next track is the much more abrasive and angular sounding Fun People. This is one of two tracks featuring Graham Coxon on guest vocals or background vocals and guitar. He gets to act out his love for noise and distorted guitar sounds. It's definitely a heavier track, and maybe especially irritating after the jangly and more fluid sound of Which One Do You Want? This track, as far as I get it, criticizes the people that always seem to be careful about their social media image and people who act as if they were famous all the time. Also, the term, I think, main actor or main part syndrome is mentioned in the lyrics. And this rather behaving like robots at the end of the day or behaving like under pressure of social media rules. It's a straddle-legged hard rocking track. Probably not everyone's cup of tea. I find it, for lack of a better term, fun.
We walk and talk like we're all half machine. Fun people, fun people. Hallucinations in a so-called dream. Fun people, fun people. Like,
Give Me Back My World is more jangly and enjoyable indie rock slash power pop. Tim Wheeler, by the way, doesn't sound any older than in the 90s. This is not a track that sticks out the most for me, but also very pleasant and still memorable. So far, no duds on this album. This one's followed by Hellion, a track with a sound where power pop turns into pop punk. Always the border at which Ash were operating. It's got a very strong melody, maybe more juvenile in delivery, in style. It's a very up-tempo song and another good one.
she's a hallion. Got me thinking I'm a stallion. There she goes. There she goes. Won't you save a little love? Save a little love for me.
We've definitely left the orbit now. Track number 6, Deadly Love, comes around with a more sophisticated production. There are delay guitars, a little bit of keyboard ambience in the background. Overall, the tone is more serious. It's a mid-tempo alternative pop rock song, I would say. It's the longest track on the album and another solid one. My favorite, Ghost, maintains the more mature, contemplative mood. It's a semi-acoustic ballad with gentle vocals and even strings. And yes, also this style works for Ash on Ad Astra. Jump in the line now. This is a curiosity. Ash doing an old calypso number by Harry Belafonte. But apparently the band had been using this track as the outro background music to their live shows for years. The Ash version turns out all party punk pop with a stomping beat and frenetic little guitar solos. It's all a bit juvenile and silly, to be honest, but it would probably set a dive bar ablaze after midnight, probably also not only on our planet. I'm sure the band will have it on the set list for the summer festivals, senoras.
Work, senora. Work your body line. Work, senora. Work it all the time. Senora dances calypso. Left to right is the tempo.
The following, Keep Dreaming, is another easily accessible power pop song. Maybe hasn't got the deepest lyrics, but Tim Wheeler just knows how to write a catchy chorus. This kind of material might make you wonder if Ash are the better Weezer these days. Track 10, Dehumanized, is a powerful power pop song with very nice guitar hooks and a bit of a typical 1990s quiet, loud dynamics. Maybe one of the coolest tunes on the album, including a balls to the wall guitar solo. So yes, they are the better Weezer.
It's a sleight of hand, it's a web of lies, it's a work of art, dehumanized. It's an act of war, it's a call to arms.
The second to last track, Ghosting, then is less dramatic and more happy sounding guitar pop. It's definitely solid, maybe not the most intriguing entry, but I like the brief guitar solo on this one too. And Ad Astra closes with its title track. This one features, one more time, Blur's Graham Coxon, both on vocals and guitar. It's a love song using the imagery of space travel. It's quite grandiose and glamorous sounding, also in terms of the production. By the way, Tim Wheeler also produced this album. But the highlight of this track for me are once more the unleashed guitar solos. I even guess it's kind of a little guitar battle between Wheeler and Coxon, but it's done in a very casual, fun way. It's more about having fun with the noises that the guitar can make. It's an epic ending, which, however, never loses the rock energy that Ash are known for. Ash sound like a genuinely vital band almost 35 years into their career. With Ad Astra, they've delivered an entertaining collection of worthwhile and mostly memorable songs. The album, to be honest, does not exactly keep up the suggested space and sci-fi theme, though I would have liked if they had done so. I think this would have had a lot of potential. So that maybe as it is, Ad Astra promises a little bit more than it fulfills. But I definitely liked this album. It is a more than solid record, especially for fans of more upbeat and energetic indie rock and power pop. Ad Astra won't blow you out of the stratosphere, but it also won't be a crash landing. And I give it a 7 out of 10. So that were my impressions of this trip to the stars with Ash. And now it's your turn.